Yo, welcome back, guys. We got more anime content on Fate, and it's gonna be discussing how should you go about watching Fate Stay Night. And I obviously was gonna do this soon. I had a question that come up from one of the viewers asking how should they watch it. They start watching it, but where do they go? Where do they, go on and watching all the shows? And so I gotta say, all the other shows you see they're part of Fateverse. Go watch them. Like, they're fine, but they're not part of the main route. If you're trying to get the main story and know like what Fate was, like the origin, then obviously there's a certain way to go about it so you understand it and you can process it. Because it's one of those shows where like there's different endings, but it follows, of course, you have the same characters. Some of them introduce a couple new characters, but you have some of the same characters. You have the same servants pretty much, but it all takes place in different perspectives, like point of views. And so we're going to discuss first Fate Stay Night, which, please, Ufotable, redo this. Please, Refotable, redo this. So Fate Stay Night follows the route of Saber. So she's the main heroine of that one, and she was going to be the main male protagonist through all three of these. But with Saber, she's the main heroine, which she also is a servant in that one. So that's gonna follow more of her storyline, and like you get more background, more story on Saber and her true identity. Which I want to say, if you look at her, you might already know it, but you get her true identity and who she was in the past. Because, like I said, each servant that's summoned is a heroic figure from the past. And so they hide their true identity so others don't use it against them in combat. And so you get a lot about her. You get to see kind of like the other side of things going on as well, like some of the other backstory stuff. You don't get a lot of that Unlimited Blade Works, but we'll get to that. And so there's not much I can really say about Fate Stay Night, because that's actually what it's called. It's called Fate Stay Night, and that's the first route. It's called the Fate route, technically, in a certain way. And yeah, the ending for that, it's nice. The animation, I'm gonna say, it's just not top tier. Like you're gonna be expecting the god work of Ufotable, but that's not. They didn't they didn't animate this. This came out I want to say probably like 2010 maybe. Honestly, not too sure for this one. I think 2009 or so. But Studio Dane did it. Credit. The story is still good. The story is really good. Just the animation, you do have to get through it, and don't let that deter you from watching it because of this whole Fate route thing. And so then you go on to Unlimited Blade Works, which I talked about. At the end of the video, you can check you can go watch it. The anime spotlight I did a whole thing for it, the whole description, all of that. But still, a touch up on it is that this is Ren's route. She's the main heroine, and so you get a lot of Ren's perspective, but you also as well unlock more like secrets. Certain secret factors that granted, you always have to remember this. Each route, it's gonna have some different elements because it's gonna be from a different perspective. So when it happens, stuff that happens in this route, don't think it really ties into the other route. Like, you still have to keep in mind that the events can follow the same, but just because that happened in both routes or all three routes doesn't mean that it's the same exact thing. Does that make sense? Like, it's when you watch it, explain it now, it's gonna sound a little bit confusing, but I mean towards the end it'll start to make sense. But when you watch it, it'll 100% make sense. I'm explaining how you can watch it, but I'm giving a description first on what to expect. Unlimited Blade Works, like I was saying, you get some of the secrets on Shira as well, and Ren. And so it follows her. It takes her through a lot of her servants' journeys as well, along with her. And so there's, like I said, I did a whole thing on that. Go check the link in the description for my anime watch now. But we go on to Heaven's Fields, which, Lord have mercy, was literally the best film animation piece of work art I've ever seen in my life. Ufotable outdid themselves, but it's a 3-part trilogy, and this one follows Sakura. And so that was the character who we've seen a lot of. You see Sakura in both Fate Stay Night and then Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, but she actually takes on her own route in this trilogy. It's a 3-part movie, and so she ends up becoming a master in this one. But you get to see the behind the scenes of who Sakura really is and what her family's like. Because Shinji, you get to meet Shinji in the other ones, but you don't get to know too much about the Matoi family. But this one follows the deep, entrenched, secrets of that family and what goes on in Sakura's life and why some of the things happened in Sakura's life. You can still tie that in to them having her and her brother being related and having some trouble, some problems. You can still tie that part in, but the other stuff that happens can still make sense because of what's taking place in that story and how they develop her character. And so you also see servants that you wouldn't see in Fate Stay Night and Unlimited Blade Works. And so that takes me to Fate Zero, which came out, I want to say 2012. And so that one's important. Fate Zero acts as a prequel, almost. And so the Holy Grail War took place. Yeah, the story is about the Holy Grail War that took place before this trilogy we're talking about. So you have Rin as a child, you have Sakura as a kid, you have Shiro as a kid as well. So you do see some of the servants in that one that are the same from the other one, but you also see probably a couple new ones and different heroic figures, And so that was important because you do get background on the childhood of these kids, which is important, and you get to allude, and it's difficult to explain this because I know my friend, we went and watched the movie and there's a lot of questions on it. A lot of stuff that happens in Fate Zero, a lot of that background that you get really ties into what's happening in Heaven's Fields. So that's why I would say you would watch Fate, honestly, you would go Unlimited Blade Works, Fate Zero, Fate Stay Night, and then Heaven's Fields. If you can find it online for streaming or something, however, or get the Blu-ray, I honestly want to get that copy because that's, like I said, how would you say it? The filmography for it, the animation for it was pretty, just insane. And so, yeah, watching that one, you can catch Fate Zero actually on Netflix, Crunchyroll, and a couple others, but I know a lot of people have Netflix, so you can be sure to check it on there. Unlimited Blade Works is also on Netflix as well. I forgot to mention that. So you get a lot of the childhood background, you get a lot of the servant background. So some of the servants will act the way they do because of what happened in Fate Zero. So that's another hint on why it is important to watch, so you can kind of follow the course and understand what is happening in these series. And so, like I said, the way I would watch it and the way I watched it, and it made perfect sense. Because I first started watching Unlimited Blade Works when it came out. So it was Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works. Then it was Fate Zero. Go to Fate Stay Night. That's Saber's route. And then you have Heaven's Fields that carries on. And so that is the main one. Some people will say you can interchange Fate Zero and Fate Stay Night. Heaven's Fields always gonna be last. That's for sure. But stuff that happens in Fate Stay Night, I would recommend watching Fate Zero before you do watch it, so it can still kind of make sense. Because regardless, the 3 branches don't really intertwine, but Fate Zero does kind of branch off and add different story elements that make sense and that does intertwine with that show in particular. Does that make sense? Yeah, got it. So yeah, that's kind of where you go with that. And if you do get confused, just, you know, rewatch this video, I guess. But also, like I said, you can go check out the watch now on Unlimited Blade Works, where I go into more detail on that and I show a little bit of the stuff going on in there. Yeah, that's pretty much all we got for now. I hope that helps. I'm a Fate junkie, so you know, I love talking about Fate. I can talk about each series. Like, I may end up talking about Heaven's Feels definitely needs some information on it, like some sit down and talk, because everything that happened in that movie was just, it was out of this world. Like there was so much to it, so many different elements, so many like different like just factors that, you know, like just were important throughout the whole thing, and like you wouldn't expect it, but it happened, and something that was supposed to happen just doesn't. You know, it seems kind of like cliche to say that, but there was a lot of things that happened in that movie like that. And so yeah, that'll get its own segment. But I hope this was helpful. I hope it does help. You can go check out now everything else outside of the 4 I told you is the spin-offs, which I would still go check out. There's a lot of good ones out there. I know recently I was late, but I just watched Fate Extra. It was I'm pretty sure it's the last encore. You can catch that on Netflix. There's Fate Apocrypha, that's on there. And I believe there's another one as well, but there's a Fate Grand Order that's on Crunchyroll you can watch. And I mean, the Fateverse is very big. You get a lot of different servants, a lot of other characters to get introduced. So it's still fun to watch, because the Holy Grail War and all the other stuff is expanded and takes on many different forms, many different like meanings. And so the way like these battles are fought are way different than what you'll see in these 4. So yeah, I would definitely still check them out 100%, 110%. And also you can download Fate Go. It's a great game to play. You'll also understand more of the Fate universe playing it, because you'll be playing with a lot of different servants in that one. But I hope that all makes sense. I hope it was able to help you distinguish what you should watch. If you get clueless a little bit, just comment down below what you don't understand, and I'll get to you. I'll, you know, respond the best I can. I'll do whatever I have to, you know, because I want you to watch all of these. These are great shows to watch. This is my top 3. I would say number 2. So I hope you have a great day. Go ahead, if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe so you can get more anime content and anything pretty much. Yeah, don't miss out. Stay tuned, and y'all have a great day.